my list, 52 points. I have a mech combat team with 2 mech platoons and an additional dragon team. Then I have 2 M1s, Copperheads of course, Observer, VATs and Cobras.
And that is 52 points of American forces. Starting with my 54 points of Soviets, I got a Afghanistan infantry company. Right here's my company commander. He's bringing along 3 platoons. The first one and the second one both have the anti-tank guided missile systems, while the third one has both the anti-tank guided missile system and the grenade launchers. They're supported by 2 units of Hind 24 attack helicopters and then 5 T-72s, which will come to the rescue and ensure Soviet victory over the Americans.
Okay guys, this is my deployment. I just fielded 1 mech team here in the center in front of the objective. Behind there the M1 and 3s. And there's the fist observer, and here the personal carriers, and I have my M1 and Brands in ambush.
So for this counterattack mission, the Soviets are scrunched up here in the corner, staring at the Americans across the way, with the second objective currently undefended. But we know 3 American units are in reserve and will be coming on the board from immediate reserves. But we have 2 Soviet air assault platoons leading the way, supported by the 5 T-72 tanks, with the 3rd platoon back here prepared to board the Mi-24 Hind helicopters, which have a transport capacity. Can probably guess where they plan to go to, maybe get some flanking shots on the Americans and hold that objective. On Soviet turn 1, the infantry platoon that was in the rear boarded the Hinds and moved off to the right, while this anti-tank guided missile team shot 3 shots into the Paladins but failed to hit as they were concealed and gone to ground. Needing 6s was a bit too much to ask. The T-72s did not fire. They're waiting to see where the American tanks pop up, so they are considered gone to ground along with the majority of that infantry platoon. I moved the 2 heavy weapons teams into this building here and left the rest of the guys gone to ground waiting for the attack to develop. While over on the right, 1 helicopter landed behind this barn. It has the unit leader for the platoon along with the anti-tank missile team. And then 3 Hinds came here. 2 of them shot into Simon's 109s, destroying 2 of them. The 3rd one shot into a 113, failed to hit. But overall, a very successful first turn for the Soviets. Everyone knows those Copperheads are the bane of my armored forces, and we've taken 2 of them off the board, and we're going to force him to make a morale check. See how that goes.
So this is my turn, my first turn of the US Army. So in total everything stayed still, like in line. The tanks popped out of ambush. They were shooting at these T-72s. Unfortunately they couldn't hit, and 1 hit was saved. The Paladins, or the Paladin, the still remaining one, was shooting over there. Mike couldn't make his armor save, but unfortunately I failed my firepower check, so just the 2 up. 2 Dragon teams were shooting at these spigots over there, not hitting. These other 2s were also shooting. I didn't manage to hit anything. And the M113 was shooting into this building. Mike could swap the wounds on these units over there and make their saves. So this was US turn 1.
Both units of Hinds managed to pass their skill check and blitz in order to land, and then the company managed to pass its skill check and moved off the helicopters. The unit commander and the anti-tank missile team moved into the building while the infantry spread out in this field of corn in order to make themselves more difficult to hit. The Hinds then took off over here to the left. They combined with the T-72s, opened up on the American M1s that popped out of ambush. The T-72s managed to kill 1, and bail the other. And then this unit of Heinz shot at the observer, managed to destroy it. Otherwise, the infantry mostly remained in place, although this anti-tank guided missile team shot at the headquarters 113 and managed to destroy it. So overall, things are looking very good for the Soviets as we go to the Americans' turn 2.
Okay, this is US turn 2. I finally succeeded to get some reserves. I blitzed even my Cobras over there. Trying to shoot at these helicopters. Hit it once, but he made his save. Over there, I just moved my M113s. They're still in the woods, but having clear line of sight to this infantry squad, managed to take one out. The 4 Dragon missile teams were shooting at these helicopters, unfortunately hitting once. He made again his saves. And the Paladin ranged in there on a second time, needed 6s to hit it 3 times, and managed to kill one squad and pin down this infantry unit. So this was US turn 2.
Top of turn 3 for the Soviets, we begin moving out of our starting positions with the infantry and the tanks moving forward. They have done significant damage to the US lines. They have taken out an infantry base with the help of the grenade launchers and the missile teams here. They did over 5 hits to them, forcing them to go to ground. While over on my right flank, a combination of the helicopters and the missile team that remains inside the barn took out 2 113s. So we're starting to collapse the Americans' dug in positions, and they should be assaulting soon. We'll see if the Americans get some more help in the form of reserves as they move into turn 3.
Hello guys, this is US for turn 3. In reserves, I tried to manage getting the VATs. VATs were shooting at this helicopters over here, destroying one. The other helicopter didn't pass his moral check, so he went away. Going on over here, these helicopters were shooting Tau missiles into these tanks, hitting twice. Mike could swap one wound on this other tank there, getting armor safe. Unfortunately, he didn't make it, so I destroyed 2 tanks, making all of my firepowers. Unfortunately, they couldn't unpin, so my dragons couldn't shoot. And the still remaining Paladin was shooting at this infantry squad, hitting 2s, but he made his saves. Fortunately, they got pinned. And the rest of the shooting, and here I couldn't shoot because they used their anti-aircraft round before, so everything stayed like it is. But fortunately now we get a little bit air superiority and got rid of some tanks, so this is US turn 3.
So the Soviets started their turn 4 by unpinning thanks to the help of the company commander, and they moved forward supporting the tanks. The tanks moved forward, got some shots, but didn't hit anything. They did manage to assault the Americans, destroying one base. Went back and forth for a couple of rounds before I finally failed my counterattack and fell back my 4 inches. My Heinz moved away from the VADs that came on from Simon and shot 2 shots into the 109, but they failed to hit, so that's still alive and kicking. The infantry are not quite ready to start their assault, but they did move aggressively up the board. These guys remained in place while the Spigot missile teams in here fired 3 shots at the VATs that just came on. They managed to hit once and pass their firepower test, destroying one. His buddy failed his morale test, so now his VATs are off the board. So we're going to Simon's turn 4. Things are still looking pretty good for the Soviets. We got one objective in hand. We got pressure on the Americans at the other objective. Simon will automatically get his other mech platoon in. We'll see what he does with them.
Hi, Adam.
Hey guys, this is US turn 4. My mech platoon came inside. I just road dashed them here, 8 inches away from this team to get them in position for the next turn. The Cobras were not moving, shooting at these 2 tanks, managing to destroy them. So it's now will be their infantry fight. I moved my ammo on a freeze, made all my cross checks, getting here some shots. Fortunately, he made the saves. Dragon Team, Saws, HQ were also shooting, pinning this one. I think one team was destroyed. I think, yes, was killed. Second team of this part here was shooting at this team, managing to kill one and two. And then the artillery attempt to range in, needed 3 times. And on 7, she could hit this guy, so they're also automatically pinned, but unfortunately he made it safe. So yeah, this is a US turn 4. It will be still going hot, but I'm more confident now because now it will be an infantry fight.
Lancaster Boulevard.
So Simon has decided to call it after the top of turn 5. The Soviet hordes managed to unpin both units and advance forward, shooting as they went. They destroyed a total of 3 American teams. They bailed out the 2 113s and they pinned the overall unit. So they were going to assault in, and with the Afghanistan rules assaulting on a 4+, it looked like they were probably going to roll up the Americans on this side pretty easily. More towing was over here. The combined firepower of the Spigot missile teams, the various infantry teams, and the Heinz rolling double 6s at the end managed to force a morale check on the 2 remaining 113s, one of which is bailed out. He failed that morale check, meaning that they were going to leave the table, leaving only 1 sole survivor on the infantry there, making it virtually impossible for Simon to threaten me holding that objective at the start of the next turn. So finally have a Soviet victory. We have pushed out of the borders of the Warsaw Pact thanks to the brave men of the Afghanistan company that launched this assault. So I think next game you can look forward to seeing some more Soviet armored forces as we start our drive towards Stuttgart. We'll be back to talk about the game together as we normally do. So we'll see you then.
Okay guys, so our first match is over. Someone is smiling like a small child. Yes.
Finally a Soviet victory. We've broken through.
Yes, they are now in South Austria somewhere, in Linz, Braunau.
On to Stuttgart.
It's quite a way to Stuttgart still.
Yes.
Okay, well, I will start first to talk about my stuff. I think the counterattack the mission is favoring, particularly if you have the hasty version 1, is favoring Soviets, particularly if you have assault landing companies, because I have to defend 2 objectives. So one I have to defend, and the other one, well, I have 6 rounds time to clear this one, but still it's giving you some small pressure.
And it's a hasty attack where I'm allowed to start all my forces on the board in half a year's reserve.
This is a very big favor for you. So, yeah, what else? Okay, my infantry was good. Infantry was solid, like always American infantry is. Well, the M113s giving good supporting fire, but they couldn't do anything else this game. And of course my paladins couldn't perform in a way like normally they perform, because you just shoot 2 out of on the first round. So
finally my Heinz performed like my Heinz are supposed to perform.
Yes, this rolls for your firepower and your hitting was insane.
Yes.
Yeah, then well, the vets were coming in, was good. They were getting rid of 1 Hind.
Yeah.
Squad was really good, so I could even or get even the air superiority. The Cobras were really my MVP or my unit of the match, because they just destroyed completely a whole tank unit. So
I gotta add, in my list construction, I really didn't anticipate Simon bringing the Cobras. He hasn't brought them at all in the first 2 matches, and I thought with the 50-point limit that we had that we were gonna forego the Cobras, and so they just were able to run wild over there, and I really had no way of even threatening them. They're always a tough unit to take down anyway, but I had no air defense on the board to try to counter those guys.
Yeah, it was really good because I mean, you had actually a very high air defense, like let's say like a mobile air defense through your Heinz. But I think a Gremlin team would be also good in this case.
Yeah, but I was saving points, and that might have been a mistake. It didn't hurt me in the end, but in the future, probably spending that extra point for the Gremlin team was going to be a good idea.
Then the tanks, unfortunately, this time I just lost 16 points because they didn't. It hit once, not even just bailing one T-72, and then in return they just next turn just smacked up. So yeah, problem was because my tactic was at the right side quite that we will have a gunfight, like a gun out shooting, and I think the outshoot of my tanks, if they could manage to survive as long as possible, I think I would win this one. And it was clear, or it was visible for me, or it was later visible, and then before the tanks weren't managed, you just stayed with your infantry. So you have a lot of respect of them, and it's a reason why.
It's my new favorite tactic, is to put my Soviet tanks in cover and let the Americans shoot first, because getting hit on 3s is just a terrible way to go. Getting hit on 5s gives me some chance to survive and then hit you back. Because the other part of that is trying to hit you when you're on the ground and cover on 6s is just ridiculous. So I'm patient with those T-72s. It's increased their survivability quite a bit. So I've been really happy with that.
Yeah, so not like normally you see in battle reports that people are just rushing all over the tanks and then wondering that the M1s are just wiping them out one by one. Yes.
Yeah.
So for all people who, for example, think that Soviets are hard to play, they're not hard to play. You just have to have patience.
Whoa. You need to be a skilled miniature wargame player to play the Soviets. That much is clear.
Well, a little bit I will give you this one.
But your point is you need to be patient with these guys. You really need to phase your attack and make sure you're doing things in the correct order.
Yes, because as in for example, in the Facebook group, some people's were just literally rage quitting because they use T-72s and everything. But you have to be patient. You have just to get rid of American tanks, and then you can freely do whatever you want, because the Dragon missiles won't hurt them.
Yep.
Maybe if I can get a side shot, maybe then I can threaten you. Otherwise, nothing happens.
Yep.
And yes, well, and the VATs, well, yes, they managed to destroy this one, but nothing else. And the last round was a little bit pathetic, honestly, because his Heinz destroyed this one unit of M103s, because I still had hope to contest at least there, maybe hoping that I can hold the assault over there, but yeah. And then losing, and what we really were talking also before, and it's applied really here, the morale is the Achilles heel of the Americans.
You've done so well the previous 2 games for the campaign, and today you were failing those morale checks, and it makes all the difference for the Soviets to be able to press their advantage when they get it.
Yes. So now it's your...
So a little bit about list construction. I've been toying with some other lists. Obviously, I had the Afghanistan field maneuvers video that's up on the YouTube channel as well. I think it really helped out. That was a small point game. I was able to get 3 platoons in there. It gives me plenty of mobility. We didn't get to see the infantry in the attack, close up, hand-to-hand combat, but I think they would have done really well. The extra skill paid off. That first turn, my helicopters made both their blitz moves. I'm sorry, the second turn, we're able to land, and then the infantry were able to blitz off the helicopters and then those helicopters essentially got an extra turn of shooting.
Yes.
Took out your observer, put some pressure on the tanks. It was really worthwhile. And they couldn't have done that if they weren't Afghanistan, because then they're trying to do it on a 5-up instead of 4.
Yes, this +1 skill is really a big deal for the Soviets in this case.
Yeah, and they were a lot of fun to play. I had a blast moving that infantry platoon over the second objective. That's really what air mobility is supposed to allow you to do. And they executed it perfectly. And then my tanks, their #1 job in my list was to take care of the American tanks. They did that. I was hoping for a little bit more from them when it came to assaulting the American infantry in the foxholes. You kept making that counterattack. It was helped by the fact that you had your commander over there, so you were making it on a 3-up. I eventually failed mine, which opened me up to the Cobras that were able to destroy me after that, and I wasn't able to get you out of the foxholes. But all the firepower that I brought to bear on your right flank finally paid off. I had pinned you, I destroyed a number of the 113s, I had bailed out 2 113s. I was all set to do that final assault and push the Americans out, and they just didn't have enough combat power to kind of counter me at the end of the game. So.
I think the last assault we didn't roll the dice because I had just like 3 or 4 stains. So hitting on 4 stand with the assault company, I think I wouldn't manage this one. Maybe if it would be a 5-up, like regular Soviet infantry, then maybe I could go. But as I lost over there my ammo and freedom, it was completely over.
Yeah, so felt really good about it. I'm gonna lay off the Afghanistan. They are my really last go-to reserve unit when I'm really stuck against Simon's forces. I do like playing the mechanized units, so we're gonna bring those back out now that we've penetrated into the NATO lines and heading to Stuttgart. So I think in the next game you're probably gonna see my traditional T-72 list supported by some mech infantry and some Hinds. But I also understand that the Americans don't have a lot of answers for the Hinds right now for air defense, and so I don't want to take advantage of that every game. I'm confident that you'd come up with some strategies to counter me, and I was really lucky with my dice rolls, but again, the Afghanistan are there, so when the group commander, the army commander isn't able to achieve breakthrough, that's my ace in the hole.
Yeah, that's true.
Fun game?
It was really fun game, so it was also for me a hard lesson to learn about this Afghanistan. On the paper they look awesome, but when you experience it really in real life, then you see that. And you have an experience player like you, and they are really spearhead. So used properly, you can break through everywhere.
It's a fun option for the Soviets. Hopefully the Americans will get something cool like that too once Stripes comes out.
That would be really awesome.
Okay, I think that's all that we have for Campaign Game 3. Campaign Game 4 will be a Soviet attack again as we continue to push down south and then head west towards Stuttgart. So stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you'd like. Go ahead and leave comments. I always respond. And we enjoy talking to you on the
yes,
show.
And give us hints or improve where we can improve, if it's speaking, talking, or whatever. Just give us comments that we can improve our abilities also.
All right, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye.